Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt, which at first I was not too into. I didn't think that this was starting off as great as a lot of other people did. Eventually, they won me over, and I thought that this, once they picked up the pace, it ended up becoming a pretty damn good match, and actually one of the best matches of the night. Um, I thought it had potential going into it, but that there could have been confusing elements that they would kind of like overbook and stuff. But I'm really glad that Bray Wyatt won here, and even uh, more happy, or happier, I should say, that he won clean. He didn't need to get some kind of stupid interference where, Eric Rowan distracts the referee, Luke Harper comes in and blasts Daniel Bryan with a big boot or something like that. They didn't need to do that. They just had Bray Wyatt fucking win. You can have that happen. I mean, WWE gets into this tendency every once in a while where they book every heel, no matter who they are, whether they're a wily little dude or they're somebody huge like a Brock Lesnar, where they can't win unless somebody interferes or they cheat. And that's ridiculous. Bad people are fucking talented too sometimes in life, and they could just fucking beat the good people, and that should happen every once in a while. So
That's
Bray
what keeps
Wyatt,
you going in life, right?
so Bray Wyatt winning, good. Some people are pissed off because of the Daniel Bryan thing. We're gonna get into the whole Royal Rumble match itself later on, but the people that are mad at that, some people are trying to say, and he didn't even win his match against Bray Wyatt. Well, he shouldn't have fucking won it. He beat he beat Bray Wyatt when it came to the whole turning on him kind of thing and stuff. He had his uh, comeuppance that was supposed to be given to him to make Bray Wyatt look good. So good match, good outcome, good way to start off the pay-per-view, especially coming after the New Age Outlaws thing. And then we started to get a little bit downhill onward, but we'll talk about those matches later on. For Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt, what did you think, Wigo?
I thought this was an awesome match, and like you, at the start of it, I had a hard time getting into it, and me and the John was watching it together, and I was like, "Oh man, this match is gonna suck." Really wasn't looking forward to it, but it took a while, about 10 minutes in, and I was hooked. These guys have good chemistry together. Daniel Bryan carried him throughout the match, but Bray kept up with him. Credit to him. And it turned out to be a really fun match, and I'm glad the way they ended it. Bryan still looks strong. For Bray to actually beat him, he had to use his finishing move against the barricade wall, and that was the real finish of the match. Obviously, he gave him an extra finisher for good measure, but that whole catch through the ropes into the Sister Abigail, as he calls it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was fucking sweet. So, good match, great finish, and I'm glad they didn't do some bullshit like cheating win. It's nice when we just get a clean win.
And you know what? It plays into the concussion thing too, because hitting that Sister Abigail on the barricade, it's a move where his head fucking rams into it. So it's believable that Daniel Bryan can take a move like that and get knocked the fuck out for a pinfall. So it's not even like he got beaten by some kind of a dumb move like the one that Curtis Axel uses or something like that.
And one thing the people like to forget is that Daniel Bryan's a fucking tiny guy. He's not going to take the offense that a Stone Cold or a Rock's going to take and kick out.
Right.
He's a tiny guy. If he gets smashed hard enough, he's out. So, perfect ending, made perfect sense. I'm all for it.
Drew?
I thought this was going to be an ODQ finish, but this actually really surprised me. I went into this pay-per-view just like trying to just be like, okay, let's just watch this as if I was like 10 years old watching it as a fan. And you know what? When I did that, this match, I was into it the whole entire way, which surprised me so much, mainly because I've been a hater of Bray Wyatt for quite some time. But Daniel Bryan can prove that hey, Bray Wyatt can have a good match if you get if he has like the good enough materials to do that with. Now moving forward, can Bray Wyatt have a good match with I don't know a John Cena, which is what they're planning for WrestleMania? That's we have to wait to see about that. But this was an excellent way to start out the Rumble. The fans were really into it. The crowd in Pittsburgh, we talk about that in a bit, but, the fans were into it. I was into it. Shut up, Miguel, the Sister Abigail off the barricade, that was, my favorite spot of the match, the tornado DDT that they did. That was a good spot as well. This had a lot of good spots in this match. This is, now some people are online are like, oh, this is like a match of the year candidate. I wouldn't agree with that, but this was, a very good opening to a subpar pay-per-view.
Miguel?
I'm okay, honestly, knowing what it led to. I think it makes sense that Bray beat Daniel Bryan. I think a lot of people are just angry that Daniel Bryan lost because of what it would lead to in terms of him not being in the Rumble. I think people had their hopes set up. They were like, okay, he lost here. He's clearly going to get it back later down the line. But given that they led into what seems to be a program between Bray Wyatt and John Cena, I'm okay with that. I think Bryan is clearly so popular right now, he can afford to lose and not lose any sort of steam or credibility. So I'm completely fine with that, especially since it led Bray to what most people consider to be his best matchup yet. It gave a guy who is just now starting in the business a chance to really keep going on the right foot, and I'm happy for it because I do see something in Bray Wyatt. I know a lot of people are kind of 50-50 on him. I think if WWE were to embrace his character more, I think he could go on to much bigger things. But in terms of this matchup, I was fine with it. It was a great match overall from what I've heard.
Oh no, but Miguel, I just want to say one thing. His character in this match, he was freaking psychotic, crazy. Like, he was doing these weird, just like he was on all fours, and like a spider. He was crawling while Daniel Bryan was in the corner. I think Bray was especially well with his character tonight, better than what he has in the past few weeks. So I thought he played excellent, and I hope this is good going forward for him.
I've seen him do those little weird contortion things. He's a bendable fat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of interesting character things, but I think his offense during the match was fucking, subpar. I'm glad they gave Daniel Bryan the bulk of control, at least through the first half of the match. Otherwise, I think we could have been in for a bad night and bad match with those guys.
That's why I'm not really looking forward to him against Cena.
Yeah, because obviously when they have Cena and Bray in there, it's Cena gets the shit kicked out of him, comes back, gets the win. And Bray doing a beatdown for what's probably going to be a 20-minute match, it's going to fucking stink up the joint.
There's going to be shenanigans in that matchup. I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's just going to be Bray and Cena like it was with Bray and Bryan. With Bray and Bryan, you could put Bray in there with Daniel Bryan and know that he'll carry him to a great matchup. When it comes to Cena, I don't think he's as bad as people think he is, but he's not the ring general that I think a lot of the WWE loyalists like to put him up as. I think you do need to kind of put something some kind of gimmicky veneer to kind of cover up a lot, and I think you're going to see a lot of shenanigans in whatever matchup they do decide to put these two in.
All right, we'll round us out, Peyton. What did you think about Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan?
Bray Wyatt came in with such a unique aura to him. How they had all these promos. People were looking forward to him in a way that I've never seen someone excited for a new wrestler coming in. And that balloon popped really fast for a lot of people. And he's done pretty much absolutely nothing since when he came in. This storyline, and specifically this night at the Royal Rumble 2014, I think was Bray Wyatt's coming out party. I think we're finally seeing what this character is possible, what the potential of this character can be, both as a persona and as a wrestler. This match was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely match of the night. And yeah, you could say Daniel Bryan always has amazing matches. And Daniel Bryan definitely was awesome in this match, as he always is. But it takes two to tango. You could have one person super awesome and the other person not doing shit. You can't really go in there and wrestle a broom. No one's really going to make an awesome match going there and wrestling a broom. I don't care who the hell it is. Even Shawn Michaels can't do that.
I don't know. Shawn probably could wrestle a broom and make it.
Okay, maybe Shawn. Shawn could the broom could catch a breeze and he'll fucking bounce off the opposite corner off. That'd be awesome. But for this, Bray Wyatt busted his ass. I mean, that guy just kept running and running. He kept up with Bryan for a long time. That match was a long match. It was like 17 minutes or something like that. It had a good length to it.
It did seem kind of long, but not overly long. Like, oh my God, why doesn't just?
There was a point where they were doing a lot of rest holds, and even the crowd was kind of tuning out. But they picked it up and got things rolling again. Mm-hmm. Daniel Bryan, is very awesome and he's very popular right now, but Daniel Bryan's not perfect. He has to show flaws once in a while, and losing in this match was one of those flaws that he had to show. Daniel Bryan is just a ball of fire. He likes to move at 500% of the speed that any other person would, and unfortunately, this was one of those times where if you run at that speed, sometimes you're going to derail and you're going to crash. Daniel Bryan was just flying around. He did that tope out onto Bray Wyatt, and he got caught. And Bray Wyatt capitalized with that Sister Abigail into the guardrail, which just looked absolutely freaking amazing.
That was definitely one of the best moves of the night. Another one that I really liked, and this is credit to Daniel Bryan, when he was on the apron, he did that. He leapt forward and turned that into the tornado DDT. Yeah. That was pretty awesome.
I thought that looked messy as hell, but I don't know. Maybe I'd have to go back and rewatch it. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of awkward.
I thought that looked really good. But the whole match was just fantastic, and props to Bray Wyatt too. I don't want to just give all the love to Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan gets enough love as it is. I've done nothing but hate on Bray Wyatt pretty much since he came in. I would say his character was awesome, but as a wrestler, he was just a fucking slob. This match, he proved me wrong. He proves he's actually got something in the tank. I don't know if he has enough in the tank to make a high-profile match with John Cena at WrestleMania. I'm kind of hoping that concludes before Mania, but since it seems like John Cena's already spoken for at Elimination Chamber, I'm guessing that match ain't happening there. So maybe that is what we're having at Mania. I'm still not sold on that yet. I still need to see something more from Bray Wyatt to get excited about that. Because even as a character, I just don't see how Bray Wyatt and John Cena clash. And maybe they'll figure out something to make that work. But I guess that's all I have to say for now. We'll talk more about Bray Wyatt later. But awesome match for Bray Wyatt here. Well-deserved victory. And I'm actually excited for the first time to see more Bray Wyatt matches.
We're going to move on with Brock Lesnar versus Big Show in what you can kind of call a match, kind of can't, but whatever. We're going to talk about that segment in the next part.